Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Selection Saturday Kickoff Show short video for all of you. Having already made the Tuesday and Wednesday picks, we're now going to do up the Thursday and Friday ones. And before we get down to it, I have a couple of announcements to make. First of all, chances are you may or may not be watching Jacksonville State playing host to Western Kentucky. And I mentioned them in the same breath with a team that I'm picking for one of those Thursday games. That would be James Madison. Well, I now know for sure that both of those schools will not be bowling this year. And I should have known this from a year ago because there is a 2-year transition rule instituted by the NCAA that prohibits teams from going to bowl games in that 2-year transition. The interesting thing in regards to Jacksonville State is that they could still get to a bowl game if there were not enough 6-6 teams to get in. Interesting. James Madison, meanwhile, they're undefeated at 6-0, and barring some unforeseen circumstance that I may miss, they're going to be left out in the party again. So knowing all of that logic now, I'm going to go ahead and make this announcement. See, I told you that announcement so I can tell you this announcement. I will, in fact, even though I had said that both teams are, James Madison's bowl eligible and Jacksonville State could still be bowl eligible with a win, and they only need one, and they could get it tonight against Western Kentucky. Well, I'm here to inform you guys that I am going to go ahead and consider them as at-large selections for the helmet tree. They will both be on the helmet tree this year. And now that we got that out of the way, I want to go ahead and make a mention right now that 19 teams are already helmet tree eligible. I'm not going to run them off. Too long a list. The same could be said for the 5-win teams. We have a total of 18 in the FBS and another 14 in the FCS. So we got quite a lot on the plate already. And the lists are going to fluctuate from the 5 teams to the 6 teams. I should say 5-win teams to 6-win teams. Those that become 6-win teams are locks. 5-win teams, of course, will continue to grow over the course of the next several weeks until the season concludes. So now that we got all of that out of the way, we're going to get down to the business of what's going to amount to 3 lanyard selections. No helmets this time. 3 lanyard selections for the Thursday and Friday slate. And I mentioned James Madison. They're playing Marshall. And what did I do with the James Madison? Are you kidding me? Oh, there it is. Once again, another one of those slip-ups. It's become somewhat of an annoying pattern on my part. But James Madison's already got their place on the throne, so to speak, as far as the helmet tree goes. So yes, James Madison and Jacksonville State will both be on the helmet tree this year. That much we know is true, and I'm taking them to beat Marshall, even though Marshall is more than a formidable foe. That's been proven time and again, no matter what conference they're playing in. They're always up for the challenge every time out. I don't want to ever dare call them a poor team's Notre Dame, because they're not poor. They can play with anybody, anywhere at any given time. So, anyway, James Madison against Marshall. And that, by the way, I can't remember if it's ESPN or ESPN2, but whoever's got the one, chances are the other's got the other. That would be Rice and Tulsa. Rice, I believe, needs only 2 wins to become bowl eligible. And as sure as I'm sitting and, well, not sitting, I'm standing actually. We got to do our due diligence here and take a look at the records just so we're clear. Oh, and by the way, at the time of this recorded short, Middle Tennessee has a 7-0 lead on Liberty early in the first quarter. In that game, Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State getting underway in about 15 minutes. The same could be said for Southern Mississippi and South Alabama. Meanwhile, there is that Rice and Tulsa game. I beg your pardon. Both teams are 3-3. This is a lot tougher than I thought. Well, this one's a tough one. This one's a tough one. And I say this in part because wins are going to be needed for both teams to get 6 wins, to become bowl eligible, to become helmet tree eligible. You know what, I don't know what the schedules suggest for both of those teams, but it's a crossroads game for both. Somebody's got to win this one. This is a roll of the dice on my part. Conference play, as it always is very tough to predict, and it reflects in the records, which, by the way, I have yet to complete for this last week, all thanks to my iPod charger almost setting everything on fire here. But nevertheless, we're going to take Rice. We're going to take Rice. And oh, by the way, special shout out to my main man, Mr. Kevin Martin. We just got this along with several other ones. If Rice makes it to if they become bowl eligible, we're probably going to put this one on the tree this year. That is, if Rice makes it on. So we also got helmets from Maryland. I guess we can play a little show and tell, can't we? Here's the new Maryland one. The black one, which they debuted not very long ago, and I believe it was against, can't remember who it was. I want to think it was Charlotte, but it probably wasn't. Here's the one I love, Austin Peay. If Austin Peay finds their way to the FCS playoffs, we're putting that bad boy on the tree this year. And a couple from Old Dominion. Look at this bad boy. Makes you think of the 1970s, doesn't it? And suddenly you have the urge to sing Boogie Nights. But there's that one, and then there's this one. And if I'm Old Dominion, I'm looking at you guys. You are the Monarchs. You be the Monarchs. You get your eligibility. Go get it. And then we have Georgia State. We actually have 2 for Georgia State, but Georgia State, we're showing off the black one. There's a blue one that we got for their game against Louisiana this weekend. So we got a lot of that covered. And oh, by the way, let's go, Mountaineers. That, I believe, is helmet number 7 for West Virginia. So I think we got everything covered there. So, yeah. We've already picked James Madison. We've already picked Rice. Those are the Thursday lanyard selections, which now leaves us to the Friday lanyard selection. SMU and Temple. This is a no-brainer here. But I'm going with the Stangs. I made the mistake of going against them last week, and it cost me dearly. I like SMU. That was when Tanner Mordecai played. But we are going to go with the Stangs this time out. And we're taking all the road teams on Thursday and Friday. So there you have it, folks. Your Thursday and Friday selections. We'll do up the helmet selections for the Saturday slate. And, of course, when we get to Saturday, oh, baby, we got the big ones. Utah and USC. Duke and Florida State, Tennessee and Alabama, and number 7, Penn State against number 3 Ohio State. Tune in for all of it this weekend on the Selection Saturday Kickoff Show, brought to you on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, good night, everybody.